Okay, it has been a hot minute since I've done one of these. Disclaimer that it is 4 a.m. and I'm having to be quiet, so the audio is probably not going to be quite so great on this one, but I digress. Um, I'm gonna show the full ammo fight in particular, because it's a sterling example of something I've wanted to talk about for quite a while in one of these. Pretty much the only thing that I wanted to, which is efficiency of movement. Like I've talked a lot about how to move, but ultimately movement can be detrimental if it's not that if it's just movement for the sake of movement rather than movement for a purpose, which is hopefully a concept that'll become a little bit more clear towards the end of the fight. Please play. Thank you. So the opening of the fight is very good. You don't let me get my left-hand turn on you. Like, that's something that I like to do a lot, is I like to turn left and get the advantage that way, but you deny that. But then we go into this kind of, this circle fight, which, like, it's a good example here. Like, I can see that you're floating a lot, but you're never stopping to actually take shots. And the reason that I'm out trading you here effectively is, if I just go, well, actually no, we'll go back 10 seconds, just to the beginning of this trade here. This one? Yeah, this is the one. So, I'll put it on half speed. So this is the first example of, that audio is shaky. But you can see here that these, this floating, like this floating here, like, it's both making your own aim harder, because you're constantly moving, and you're having to, like, the reticule's moving, and I'm strafing, and that makes it harder, for you to aim, but it also means that you're effectively going in a straight line, and you can see that I was just keeping the, my crosshair on the reticule there, which meant that I could aim at you, while you were really just moving across my screen, rather than, like, getting behind me. That's why engine killing basically in front of someone isn't quite ideal. But you get out of that eventually. I think you realize that you're starting to take a little bit of damage, which is definitely, that's not a circle that you want to be stuck in. But really here it's kind of more of a similar... Okay, so here... Like, yeah, it's just more of a similar kind of circle fight. And this is where I think you could really do with afterburning past people, more so than sitting in these circles. Because at the moment what I'm doing is I'm positioning myself in such a way that I can circle around you, but then I can also... If I can find a good example. Yeah, so, like, I'm circling around you here, I'm moving with you, I'm moving with you, I'm moving with you, but then I get an advantage because you're a little bit inefficient in your movement, and I stop, and I start punishing your movement here. And then I see you're turning this way, and, like, once I have the advantage, because I'm in the faster ship, it's very easy for me to take it, and then you're still doing these little micro-engine kills, which make it, very easy for me to just land shots effectively. And, yeah, this is all fun. That turn was a little bit ambitious, that was my bad, actually, don't replicate that. But instead of these long engine kills, like, instead of this long engine kill, right, that you just did here, what you can do is you can stop in one place, like, hold the reverse key, and then turn in whatever direction you want to turn in, and then strafe in the opposite direction. It's called an anchor turn. It is basically the tightest possible turn that you can make, and it also makes it a lot harder for someone to stick on your ass constantly. Because you're not doing these long engine kills that are very easy to read, are very predictable, and that, like, someone can afterburn past you. Like here. Like, I just afterburned past you as you were doing that long engine kill, and I kept the position I was in. That's not quite so doable as an anchor turn. Quite so doable if you're doing an anchor turn. And then, yeah, we're back in the circle fight, which I'm more than happy to maintain, because I'm getting, I'm able to exploit little inefficiencies, for the longer we circle. The other thing is that because the hammerhead is, faster than the saber, I'm gonna naturally get advantages that way anyway. Like it says 68 versus 71 turn speed. And that's gonna result in me just kind of slowly gaining the advantage as we circle. So ideally what you would want to be doing instead is afterburning past me and getting distance so that you can joust. and trade because you have more DPS because you're on a 7 gunner compared to the hammerhead, which is of course a 6 gunner. So ideally what you want to be aiming for, especially with high DPS guns, is to get distance and set up jousts where you can go for very short trades. I think Wesker's most recent video in the training room covers that, where he's flying his Crusader. It's called, I think it's called the Mighty Beowulf. That's a very good example of what I'm talking about. And then yeah, we're kind of back in circle. The other thing is, mine usage, if it's used in excess, like, I like that you're using shredders. I think they're a very good mine to learn with. But you can see that if it's just effectively being dropped without much placement, they're quite easy to avoid. There are also people out there who will start cruise disrupting you for wasteful shredder drops. And that's going to result in you taking more damage from your own mines than you're dealing to the enemy, which is, you know, a little bit suboptimal. But yeah, like, just then, yeah, put it on, yeah, here, I'll put it on half speed so we get the fun audio again. But you can see that I'm happy to turn, I'm turning, but then I see that I have the turn advantage, so I stop and I start aiming, like, especially since I have shields, and that was, like, that's pretty much a picture-perfect time to stop and trade. And obviously it went heavily in my favor since I still have shields up. Generally, if you have shields and your opponent doesn't, that's a really good time for you to stop moving quite so much and trade a little bit more. Anyway, let's keep going. And then, yeah, I'm trying to mine trap. I'm trying to bait you into turning around me a little bit more so I can land a mine on you. But I think I don't think I ever really landed any more. Oh, this is a really good sequence. Yeah. So again, this is where your kind of very frequent engine kills harm you a little bit. Like, you drifted off a little bit. Hang on, it's easier to explain in slow motion. Yeah, a little bit further back. This'll do. So yeah, you're doing this long engine kill here. I'm turning. I see that you're doing another engine kill, so I stop an anchor turn, which is the reverse right there. And then I do a short afterburn to get position, and then now I'm at an advantage again. And I can see that you're still going for that kind of circle, so I go for an early turn on you, and I keep that position, and now I'm in a spot where I can really punish it. Like, this is, effectively what I'm doing is I'm doing the movement that I need to do to get into a position, and then I'm abusing that position to deal damage, rather than just keeping on moving for the sake of moving. Like, if you're just moving, you're going to have a really difficult time aiming, the reticule's going to be jumping around all the time, and there's only so much damage that blind fire will get you, for the most part, unless you're doing shotguns. But that entire sequence was a pretty good example of efficient movement versus inefficient movement, more or less. And then, yeah, now I'm just trying to get your shields down and trade a little bit to get your last bit of health down. I still do a short early turn to get position. But generally, what I think would fix a lot of your problems is just afterburning more to get past people and set up jousts a little more, and then you can really exploit your movement to set up turns, get behind people, but then crucially, make sure that you're exploiting that position, that you're stopping, giving yourself time to land shots and aim, rather than constantly moving and then constantly having your cursor jammed in the edge of your screen. Like, it's very hard to consistently aim that way. Like, make sure that you're giving yourself time when you're behind people and you're not in any danger yourself, that you're giving yourself time to aim at the cross and really land those shots to really exploit, the positions that you can put yourself in, because your movement is genuinely really good. Like, once you get your movement to be, like, being a little bit more efficient, and, like, once you learn how to exploit it, I think you're going to be in a really good spot.